Welcome to this explainer. Let's jump right into some literally mind-bending research coming out of the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, or KIT for short. This is absolutely going to change how you look at the everyday tech surrounding you. We rely on Wi-Fi for pretty much everything, right? But what if those invisible signals could do a whole lot more than just connect you to the internet?
Picture this for a second. You're just strolling past your favorite local coffee shop. You haven't gone inside, you haven't bought a thing, and your phone is tucked away in your pocket. Yet, as you walk by, you are uniquely identified. And here's the crazy part. This happens without a single security camera, without a hidden mic, and without you wearing any smart devices. How is that even possible?
Well, there's a really stark contrast between visible and invisible surveillance. Normally, when we think of being watched, we picture a standard CCTV camera. It's got a visible lens, maybe a blinking red light. It basically announces it's there. But everyday Wi-Fi routers? They are completely ubiquitous. They just sit quietly on shelves or blend into ceilings, giving us zero warning that they could actually track your physical identity.
Section 1. How radio waves see you. The science of Wi-Fi. Let's look at how this sci-fi concept is actually playing out in reality, based on some really fascinating findings presented at the ACM Conference on Computer and Communication Security.
Okay, the secret sauce to this whole capability lies in a tiny technical detail called Beamforming Feedback Information, or BFI. Whenever a device communicates with a router, it routinely sends back these unencrypted BFI signals. Their day job is simply to help the router optimize your connection so your streaming video doesn't buffer. But as researchers have discovered, these routine signals hold an unbelievable amount of hidden physical data.
Here is exactly how this invisible process unfolds. Step 1. Your router emits radio waves out into the room. Step 2. As those waves travel, they bounce off absolutely everything, walls, couches, and yes, you. And because every single human body has a unique shape, a unique posture, and a specific way of moving, you alter how those radio waves reflect. Finally, Step 3. Researchers train an AI system to read those exact reflection patterns. The AI effectively creates a radio image of your physical form based purely on how you disrupt the Wi-Fi signal.
To make this super clear, lead researcher Professor Thorsten Struve at KIT's Castell Institute really hit the nail on the head. He says, and I quote, "It functions like a normal camera, just swapping light waves for radio waves. Instead of capturing visible light bouncing off your face, this system captures radio waves bouncing off your body. It's the exact same fundamental principle as photography, just operating in a spectrum that we can't actually see."
Now, theory is one thing, but does this actually hold up in the real world? To find out, the research team ran a rigorous study with 197 participants. They basically wanted to see if this AI could genuinely distinguish between almost 200 different people using nothing but Wi-Fi signal reflections. The results they got were honestly staggering. The AI system identified individuals with nearly 100% accuracy. And get this, that accuracy held up regardless of the viewing angle of the router or even how the person happened to be walking at the time. Your physical radio wave signature is apparently just that distinct.
And as researcher Julian Tott notes, this is what makes the technology uniquely powerful compared to older tracking methods. If anyone wants to track you today, they usually rely on pinging the smartphone in your pocket or the watch on your wrist. Not here. You don't need a smartphone, you don't need a wearable. You just have to be standing near an active Wi-Fi signal. Your actual body becomes the trackable beacon.
Section 2. Hidden surveillance, the Wi-Fi network. Because if everyday Wi-Fi routers can act as highly accurate cameras, we really need to talk about where those routers are currently located.
Think about the infrastructure surrounding us right this second. Wi-Fi is everywhere. It blankets our public and private spaces, from our living rooms to our offices, local cafes, massive transit hubs, university campuses. We've essentially spent the last 20 years making absolutely sure that no physical space is a dead zone.
When we look at the sheer scale of the surveillance potential here, it is completely eye-opening. Studies estimate there are roughly 1 billion traditional surveillance cameras worldwide. That's a massive network. But Wi-Fi devices? They outnumber those cameras by roughly 20 to 1 globally. That means an infrastructure capable of tracking human movement already exists at a scale that completely dwarfs the camera networks we usually worry about.
Section 3. The no opt-out future. Invisible tracking. This brings us straight to the crux of the researchers' concerns about where this invisible tech is heading. First, we should definitely put the current threat level into perspective. As KIT team member Felix Morsbach points out, right now, if a bad actor wants to spy on you, this Wi-Fi method isn't their first choice.
It's still way easier for someone to just hack a smart doorbell or compromise an existing CCTV camera. So they aren't saying Wi-Fi tracking is the biggest immediate threat today. The real danger is the trajectory we're on. The current threat is pretty localized, like hacking a specific camera. But the future threat? It's the impending reality of a near-total surveillance layer draped over our everyday lives. Because Wi-Fi is invisible, there's absolutely no warning that surveillance is happening, and more importantly, there is no way to opt out. You can choose to leave your phone at home, you cannot choose to stop reflecting radio waves.
The researchers specifically warn about how this capability could be abused in authoritarian contexts. Imagine being able to quietly track protesters or monitor targeted groups without setting up obvious checkpoints or installing highly visible cameras. Authorities could just tap into the existing invisible public Wi-Fi infrastructure.
Section 4. Closing the privacy window. This brings us to why this research serves as a massive urgent warning alarm for the tech industry.
There is a silver lining here. This isn't happening at scale quite yet. What Kit presented is just a proof of concept. But we are in a serious race against time. The researchers are stressing that we have to build in privacy protections right now. The whole goal is to structurally prevent this from becoming cheap and easy to deploy globally. Because if we wait until it's easy, it's going to be too late.
And they actually have a very specific target for where these protections need to be implemented. They're formally calling for privacy safeguards to be directly incorporated into IEEE 802.11bf. That's the upcoming standard that's going to technically govern all future Wi-Fi sensing capabilities. If we can hard-code privacy at the foundational level of that new standard, we can stop Wi-Fi from becoming a tool for mass surveillance. We definitely still have time to secure this emerging standard, which is incredible news. But learning about these hidden capabilities really shifts your perspective, doesn't it? It leaves you looking at that little plastic router sitting in your living room in a completely different way. Next time you connect to Wi-Fi, it's really worth asking, who else might be tuning in? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll see you next time.